Alright, how's it going, guys? Today we're going to be on the topic of Brock Boeser. We are now 1 day away from training camp, and of course, Brock Boeser is still not signed. So in today's video, we will discuss how Brock Boeser will impact the lineup if a deal is not reached before the start of the season. It has recently been reported the Brock Boeser camp and the Canucks management camp are still far away from reaching a deal, which of course, so training camp starts tomorrow. That is not good news. Rick Dhaliwal just reported that the Brock Boeser camp realizes that the Canucks are not going to be able to pay him enough for the long term given their current cap situation. So considering that, a 2, 3, 4 year is definitely in play. But finding the price point is really the tricky part. Currently Brock is training with the University of North Dakota and some of the pro players, so it is good to hear that he is getting in some ice time. This whole RFA situation is very, very different from previous years. There is an abundance of highly skilled elite talent all demanding large paychecks. Rightfully so, of course, but there's a lot of them. Many of these RFAs are coming off a career year, which may just be unsustainable, or they are on the verge of a breakout year, which of course involves a lot more risk when signing a contract from the management side. In my opinion, Brock Boeser is on the verge of a breakout season, and I believe that his camp feels the same way. The Canucks camp has been reported to be wanting closer to the Timo Meier contract, which was $6 million per, and the Canucks camp is looking for somewhere around the $7 million mark, so there's definitely a pretty significant, price difference there. And in my opinion, the difference between $6 million and $7 million is the difference between a 30-goal scorer and then a potential 40-goal scorer. So I'll ask you guys this question. Do you believe that Brock Boeser, given his current situation, his development, the team's internal development, and his injury history, is he on track for a 40-goal season? Because that, I think, in my opinion, is the main issue here, main underlying history. Given his injury history, are they going to be paying someone for 30 goals or are they going to be paying for 40 goals? Brock has scored just under 30 goals in his first 2 seasons, and he would have easily scored 30 if it wasn't for injuries. I truly believe if he can play at least 75 games that he will be a 35-40 goal scorer. And considering that Elias Pettersson is still developing, Quinn Hughes is joining the team, their power play should be getting much better. I do believe that this will all contribute to Brock Boeser's success. So on the topic of how will the Canucks perform without having Brock in the lineup? One positive, I guess, to start off is the team is healthy right now and we have a lot more depth than previous seasons. We're not as vulnerable if Brock isn't in the lineup compared to like last year where Berge was injured, Sutter was injured, Beagle was injured, Roussel was injured. We're not as vulnerable. At the start of the season, we have a lot more additions, obviously Ferland, JT Miller, and again, depth and injuries aren't going to be a massive underlying issue. I do believe that the Canucks will be alright if we don't have them. It's obviously better to have in the lineup, of course, but I do think we'll be alright. And I honestly think that Brock not being in the lineup will hurt him more, personally, his development, his good start to the season, than the team itself. Brock Boeser has either been injured or had lingering issues throughout the whole duration of his professional career. Not being in training camp really isn't the end of the world, but being able to start practicing with the team, working on chemistry, being in that mindset is very beneficial to having a good start to the season. And I think it'll just truly be a shame if Brock Boeser has another slow start because of, not missing training camp and not being able to be with the team, considering that he's had previous slow starts because of his injuries or lingering issues. But if Brock is out for a long stretch of time, and I guess injuries do occur, and depth isn't as strong, PD doesn't have his lineup, it will eventually start really hurting the lineup. We, of course, as fans, really just want to see Brock and PD back together. Come on. One thing I really want to touch upon, though, is the topic of Vancouver itself. I've heard from many fans say that Boeser just wants to go back to Minnesota, and that is why he hasn't signed a contract. Now, of course, being at home for Brock, of course, is an added bonus, but this has nothing. The topic of Vancouver and being in Vancouver has nothing to do with the status of his contract. At the end of the day, money does matter. It's his livelihood, and so that's why I don't get too upset when players, want to hold out to get the best deal as they can. The NHL, of course, is also coming up on restructuring a new CBA agreement, and there also is talks of a new massive TV deal, which of course means that the salary cap will probably significantly rise. So to break it down simply, if Brock were to sign a contract like Clayton Keller's, 8 years at $7.15 million, it would guarantee Brock Boeser, a good level of sustainability. However, for a player like Brock Boeser, who can still very much elevate his game from a 30 goal pace to a 40-50 goal pace, to be honest. You can kind of understand why Brock Boeser wants a shorter term, and of course Canucks management want a longer term. Brock knows he's going to be able to elevate his game, and as a result, he's going to get paid more. And again, given that the salary cap could significantly rise in the next 3-4 years, you know, that $7.15 million may just seem like a huge steal from the Canucks management side if the salary cap does go up. And Boeser could be seeing like a $9-10 million deal instead of a $70 million deal. RFA signings can just be very risky, which is why when a player really does believe in his own abilities, like Brock Boeser, Mitch Marner, to Chuck, they will sacrifice, you know, that long-time guarantee like Clayton Keller's contract, knowing they're going to continue to grow and develop, and they're going to end up making much more money. The NHL is growing as a sport in its entirety. Within 4 years, we are seeing, you know, 2 new franchises being added. Of course, the Golden Knights and then Seattle. Owners, teams, they're seeing a lot more revenue. They're seeing a lot more profit. And so the cap is expected to rise with the success of the NHL as a sport in its entirety. Especially when you compare the NHL to other sports like the NFL or even the NBA. Personally, I'm actually very optimistic about Brock Boeser. I see him as a consistent goal scorer that will routinely put up like 35, 40 goals, around 70, 75 points, especially playing alongside of Petey. However, he must remain healthy. Playing 60-ish games every single season will really hurt the Vancouver Canucks, especially if they're paying him a very large premium. And so this next season is going to be really big for Boeser. If the injuries in his first 2 seasons were truly, you know, freak accidents, which I believe they were, then I think he will prove the Canucks management that he is worth every single penny. He's a part of a great crop of elite prospects that will continue to grow and develop alongside of each other. Quinn Hughes, Pettersson, Puck Colson, Boeser, Bo Horvat. The Canucks are just full of so much young talent, so much exciting young talent. Anyways, guys, those are just my thoughts. Definitely let me know what you guys think about the Boeser contract down below. Will him not being in the lineup truly impact the lineup? Well, I mean, truly impact the success of the lineup? Let me know what you guys think. And also, guys, thank you guys so much for all the continuing support on the franchise mode. I've had such a blast making it, and I really appreciate all the comments, the feedback, the suggestions. It really means a lot, and I love the more interactive side with you guys. Also, guys, make sure to check out my Twitch down below. Link down below. I'm going to start streaming more, I guess, hot franchise mode with you guys live. It's a blast. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Let's pray that Boeser is in our lineup on opening night. See you guys later.